30 years ago, on April 15th, 1989, the FA Cup semi-final between Liverpool and Nottingham Forest ended in tragedy. When police opened extra turnstiles to ease overcrowding outside the stadium, the resulting crush inside claimed the lives of 96 people. We met survivors of the Hillsborough disaster and heard their own accounts of one of the darkest days in the history of football.
You have chaos with fans on the field, I'm afraid to say. Clearly, something has gone badly wrong at that end of the ground where the Liverpool supporters are. The game has been stopped, nothing is happening.
The worst disaster in British sporting history happened at the start of the FA Cup semi-final between Liverpool and Nottingham Forest.
The steel fences installed to contain potential violence became a death trap.
Procession moves on, the shouting is over. Praise to the glory of loved ones now gone.
Richie Greaves was among the fortunate fans who escaped with their lives. Today he's come back to the site of the worst day of his life, the stadium normally home to Sheffield Wednesday, Hillsborough.
Yeah, it brings back terrible memories, yeah. It's a haunting place for us. It's a place where bad things have happened, bad men have performed bad deeds, and this is the same type of haunting place for me. It's obviously a place where 96 people lost their lives at a football game, and that should never happen. The lad I went with on the day can't even speak about it up until now, and I know a lot of people can't, so those of us that can have to be, I think, the eyes and the ears, and we have to speak. So it's important for us to keep telling the truth, keep letting people know how terrible this was.
Who I know, like he's a scouser, like, but he moved to
The Lion Tavern, just outside Liverpool's city centre and a few blocks away from the River Mersey.
So they might come in and say, you know,
Richie Greaves and other Hillsborough survivors meet up at the pub before and after Liverpool home games.
it's gone by the Monday. It's crazy, $100 million, you know, $150 million. You know, with a little bit of, you know, turn around the rights with the management could do well. Going through the 80s, as a football fan, you would be fairly badly treated by the police. They would assume that if you were going to an away game, that you had not gone there to watch your football team, you'd gone there to be a hooligan. They would assume that you know, there was going to be hooliganism, and they would police you very, very strictly.
Kevin Sampson has written a book about the tragedy. It features personal stories from fans who survived Hillsborough and has in itself helped others to come together. Hillsborough Voices revisits the traumatic day in Sheffield that they will never forget. April 15th, 1989.
It was a day that started off with so much hope and optimism and kind of childlike excitement. It's the semi-final of the FA Cup. So we managed to get to the Hillsborough area of Sheffield round about sort of 2 o'clock. So we said, OK, we'll park up, we'll find a pub, we'll go and have a drink, and then we'll make our way to the ground. Well, when we got into the pub, it was actually mainly Nottingham Forest fans in there. It was a really good atmosphere. Everybody left, in pretty good spirits and in good time to walk through the park and get to the ground. And that was really the first time that I began to think that something was not quite right and something was you know, very, very different.
Thinking back to those days, Hillsborough is without doubt the most traumatic time of my life, the darkest day ever. We were in a minibus, about 12 of us, something like that, and weirdly, the lad who was sitting next to me was the youngest person, and he died. It was the usual people kind of, you know, queuing up, excited, singing, and it just took forever to get in the ground.
If you'd asked me where I wanted to go on the 15th of April 99, yeah, it was to that match. And full of expectation. We had a fantastic team at that time, very entertaining team. Of course, walking down to the ground with that anticipation, getting into the ground with that anticipation, I didn't have a hint of what was going to come. It was hell on earth, basically. The day turned upside down quite quickly.
The Hillsborough football ground, already filled to its 54,000 capacity, came under severe pressure as extra hundreds packed into the terraces allocated to Liverpool.
And I think we were amongst the last to go in the ground, and then, you know, down the tunnel. And then I lost my footing and realised when I regained my footing, I was on the terrace, but I was facing back the way that I'd come, you know. Well, I just felt like, you know, it was like something I'd never experienced before.
You have chaos with fans on the field, I'm afraid to say. Clearly, something has gone badly wrong at that end of the ground where the Liverpool supporters are. The game has been stopped, nothing is happening.
I feel like my arms are outstretched, and I'm lying on my back, and my legs are outstretched, and my vision's black.